NASCAR desperately needs an EV series, and here's why. While NASCAR has rebounded from the decline that happened in the 2010s, NASCAR still has a lot more room for growth. They've also just recently shown and displayed an EV car that was demonstrated on show runs at various tracks this season. NASCAR has shown they have the technology, they have the ability, and the interest in putting together some sort of alternative fuel sourced vehicle to race with. This would make a lot of waves in the media, considering that NASCAR is not usually seen as something that's willing to think outside the box. But thinking with alternative fuels and EV in mind, this would grab a lot of headlines. Not only this, but this is the big part. Look at where auto manufacturers are. EVs are selling in places like China really well and in Europe, but here in America, they're really struggling to sell. With EV sales sort of stagnating here in the US, what better way to try and win over people than people who really care about cars and racing? Cars still sell. That's why manufacturers are still heavily invested in motorsports, and we've seen new investments in Formula One and in sports car racing like IMSA because of new technologies, whether they're hybrid or otherwise. Now, I'm not saying that the Cup Series, the top level, needs to become EV driven. I don't think that would go over well, and I think there's still way too much we don't know about EVs in order to make that really plausible or enjoyable, both for the manufacturers on the business side, but also the fans. So I'd love to see NASCAR create some sort of mini series into EV where there's maybe 10 races that are scattered throughout the season. Maybe you take the ARCA series or one of the lower divisions and use that as a platform for EVs. That's probably not likely because the cost is just going to be way too high for many of those small teams. But can we use one of the already existing platforms to make it EV compatible and use that to really drive not only technology and innovation, but sales and marketing?